Happy New Year's, everybody.
Oh,
Happy New
same
Year's.
to you, Clarence. How you doing?
Thank you.
Just hunkering down.
This is the Finance Committee meeting being held on Monday, January 4th, 2021 at 6:32 via Zoom. And we have in attendance Representative Casper, Representative Chase, Representative Forster, and Representative Powers. Anybody else here that I didn't name that's on the committee? Nope. Okay. And we have Roseanne Katowski is not going to be attending the meeting tonight. And Representative Flack said he'll be here, so hopefully he'll tune in. We have no unfinished business, and our new business is 4.1 2020-776-3, the Groton Sale Foundation MOU. And in attendance, we have Marion Galbraith, we had Jim Streeter, and Admiral Padgett. So, John, are you going to start us off and give us some background, or do you want Marion Galbraith or Jim Streeter to do it?
I can start and then they can jump in. They've been involved much longer than me. I don't know how many years this has gone on trying to find a location for the Groton sale. I think everyone's aware that we've been looking for, I think it's been probably a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. I'm not sure, that we've been looking at the library spot in front along the road, which is state right away. Apparently it was going to be a corridor to Bluff Point at one point, I think Mark said. We went through the process with the state, and before anyone asked, we did try to get it for free. they would not give it for free. We've been asked that a lot. The way it works with the state is they do 2 appraisals and they average them. So the cost is $91,500. The town has approved a MOU with the Groton Sale Foundation, where the foundation would transfer the funds to purchase the property to the town. It has to actually be the town that cuts the check.
Mm-hmm.
And then they will also raise funds to help with maintenance, to create an ongoing fund for us for maintenance. And with that,
Who would do that, John? The town,
the Groton Sale Foundation is raising the dollars and will be transferred to the town eventually.
Okay. How much do they need to raise?
Well, I don't think there's a set limit. I mean, they need the site to really do their full fund. They've done passive fundraising. People have just been hearing about it and giving money, but once we have permission to purchase the property and then purchase it from the state, we'll go full bore at fundraising. They have enough right now for the property purchase though, and to get started. And once it's approved by the RTM, I think their intent is to move the money. We'll sign the MOU and they'll move the money over for that purchase. And we have several people from the Sale Foundation to answer any questions.
Okay.
Bev, I'm here. This is Sima. I didn't get the link. Unfortunately, no one sent it to me. So I just want you to know.
Oh, okay. Next time I'll send it to you, Sima.
Yeah, I guess I got left out.
Okay.
Frantic searching for the last 10 minutes.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Jim, do you want to add anything? Or Marion? Or Admiral?
Well, this is Jon Padgett. That's a pretty good synopsis. Step 1 relative to us being able to have the Navy transfer the sail and the rudder to us is we have to have an approved site. So once the transfer of the money is made and the town of Groton owns the site, then the Groton Sale Foundation will go forward to the Navy and say, here's our idea for the site. I have talked to the people in Washington and to the people on the base that will be involved in making the decision. And it would appear that there are no obstacles to that happening, except we have to be able to say, yep, we've got the site. So that's the main purpose for right now, is to get the RTM to approve. And then that will enable us to then go ahead and transfer the money. And that will enable us then, after you guys, or after the town has purchased the site, we'll go to the Navy and say, this is it. Here's our idea. They'll approve it. I expect us then to start the fundraising. My best estimate right this minute is that we'll have to raise about $2 million in addition to the couple $100,000 we have right now. I think that's imminently doable. And I have, we've had some meetings about timing and or I guess Mark Ofinger has told me I have to use the word, I have an aspirational schedule that says that we can start the work and start the construction and coordinate the volunteers. And the hope would be that we would, the hope would be, I'm sorry, I got a bad phone here. They're going to try to tell me my insurance is expired.
Yeah, I get
But
those
the,
calls.
but we think that a reasonable timeline might be to start in earnest this spring, and then to perhaps have a ribbon cutting mid-year in 2022.
John Burt,
Yes,
did you say the site was going to cost us $99,500?
it's 91,500, but again, it'll be the foundation that pays for it ultimately. They'll transfer the money to us and then we'll cut the check.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions?
I see two hands up.
I think that answered my question. It sounds like they already have the money in hand. That was the only question I had. Thank you.
John Padgett, do you already have the money?
Yes, ma'am. We've raised about $220,000. We have about $220,000 in the account. Jim Streeter is our treasurer, so he can give you down to the nickel and dime. But it's about 220. So we're prepared to transfer the money whenever you guys give us permission to give you the money.
And what kind of maintenance will the site need?
The sail and the rudder will be the metal pieces of the memorial. And then it will be earth with some rock walls will form much of the sail. We sent pictures of that for distribution. I'm not sure who has or has not seen them, but basically it'll be a replication of what a submarine would look like sitting alongside the pier, with the mound of grass being the walking area. And then the maintenance then would include periodic mowing the grass, but you mow the grass already. There'll obviously be some additional shrubbery and trees planted. So there will probably be some maintenance associated with that. And then from time to time, there'll have to be some painting done as the wear and tear, but that will not be a very frequent thing. I would estimate it'll probably be about every 7 to 10 years, you'll have to have people come in and paint it. The goal that we'll have is before we dissolve the foundation, we'll have a pretty good idea of the amortized annual cost for maintenance. And that'll be the goal of the money we leave to you when we dissolve the foundation, or excuse me, leave to the town when we dissolve the foundation.
You're on.
Hey.
Oh, go ahead. Do you have a question?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I do. So the 91.5 will be raised by the Sail Foundation, correct?
We already raised that money.
Oh,
And
you
it's-
already have, oh, that's
it's-
right. You have 220, right.
And it's 91,500, not 99.
Yep, 91.5, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the Navy is signing this sail and rudder over to us for no charge?
Correct. There will be no charge to any of to any governmental entities for this, this memorial.
All right, so the 2 million that you said you have to raise, that's gonna pay for preparing this space for that sail and rudder, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, as far as we can see into the future, if anybody has that skill, you said you were going to dissolve the sail foundation eventually. What cost will the town incur once you dissolve? Is it just a matter of mowing lawns, trimming bushes, whatever?
The cost will be whatever the maintenance costs are associated with maintaining the memorial. And we will obviously have to have a conversation after we figure out exactly what those costs are. As I say, we'll probably have to paint the rudder and the sail about every 7 to 10 years. We'll have to mow the grass a couple times a month. But as I say, you're already mowing the grass right now as it is.
Right. So can you tell me, I don't think I've seen anywhere, the size of this sail? How high is it? How wide is it?
Well, let's see. It's a submarine sail.
Yep,
So it's about, probably about 20 feet high, probably about 4 feet wide, and it's tapered, and it's probably about 16 feet long. And then 290 feet or so after that, there'll be a rudder, which will be about probably 10 feet wide by probably 8 to 10 feet tall by maybe 3 feet wide.
okay. So 20 feet high, that's really big, and 4 feet wide. That's like gonna have like a big steel wall there.
Have you ever seen a submarine alongside the pier?
Yes,
Okay, that's what it's gonna look like, except the black part of the submarine that you walk on is gonna be grass.
right, okay.
We've got the fair water planes as well, so the sail configuration, like I say, if you've seen a submarine alongside the pier, that's what it's gonna look like, except that it'll be prettier than that. The grass will be green, and obviously then there'll be a pathway down the middle. And as I said, I'm sorry, I thought you guys had already received a copy of the proposal.
It did go out to the full
Right.
RTM. It was sent.
I did see that. I just didn't notice any sizes, and I did see a picture of what it was going to look like. So the bushes and everything that are going in there are gonna look like the body of the submarine.
Well, what's being conceived is sort of the center line as you walk from the rudder, from the sail to the rudder. There will be a walkway, and then there'll be walls on either side of that walkway, and then there'll be grass sort of worked into the model, so that it'll, like I say, it'll look pretty much like a submarine alongside, except it'll have a memorial walk from the sail to the rudder, and it'll be about the same length as it is from the sail to the rudder, so a couple 100 feet, 300 feet about. So, so like I say, there'll be mowing of grass, and obviously if a tree dies, we'll have to have a contingency for replacing the tree. But as I say, that's something we'll work out, and the intention is for the foundation to stay in place until the town is ready to say, yep, we got enough money to maintain this place in perpetuity. And then we'll say, fine, thanks a lot, and we'll dissolve the foundation.
Okay, all right, thank you so much.
Representative Powles, you have a question?
I do.
Go for it.
This is a question for Mr. Padgett. It's pretty quick. I mean, I don't know if anyone has seen the sub memorial with the mast down by the bridge here by where my house is going down Thames Street.
I've given speeches there.
Correct. And it's a beautiful, beautiful spot. And I'm sure this one is going to be just as nice. Okay. I definitely think that the maintenance on that is not nearly as expensive. And I'm sure between the volunteer groups and different things that we can do with the naval base being right here, that the maintenance of that will be exquisite. Okay. With little, if any, town funding, I'm sure you'll have a good collection of people that'll come down there and be more than happy to put in their community service there. I don't see it as a problem. I see it as a great project for the town of Groton. I think it's a way to represent our town and to give all of the naval personnel an idea that they're welcome here and that it's something in honor of the military, which I think we need to do more of in this town. So I
Yes, sir, but
appreciate
we
your
al-
efforts.
We also want to make clear, we're honoring the people in the town who have been so good to the Navy for 100 years. And we're also want to congratulate and celebrate the engineers and builders and designers at Electric Boat that make that happen. And so we intend to get as much, we expect to get a lot of support from local vendors who make pieces and parts that go together to make the submarines, because that's also who we're celebrating. I mean, this area has a tremendous history of support for the Navy, and we just want to recognize that.
Well, you have my vote, Mr. Padgett. There's no two ways. This is a great honor to be able to have this in our town. Thank you for all your efforts. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Bev, you're muted.
Sorry. Representative Casper?
Yes, thank you. I was just wondering why dissolve the foundation?
Because I'm old and someday I'll die, and I'm not sure I have a successor.
Ah, well, if you work on it.
Yeah, that was a decision that we made as a group. Bill Vogel originally was the spark back about 7 years ago when the Groton sale became available. And oh, great, John Burt, there's a picture.
It took me a while to find it.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it's going to look like if you're flying over it. But Bill Vogel had the idea and sort of was the source of the initial energy to make it all happen. He formed the committee. I was brought in as as sort of the local advisor to the group, along with George Emery, who is one of the commanding officers of Groton, who's up in Maine. So we're the two Navy spokesman. And then when Bill passed on unexpectedly, I was asked if I would take this up, and I'd gladly do it. And I think it's a very worthwhile endeavor. But I didn't want to, the group didn't want to perpetuate a, like a museum foundation or something such as that. So we decided that what we'd try to do is we'd get to a point where the town was confident they had enough money in the account to sustain it, as I say, without any impact on the taxpayers in the town of Groton. And as was mentioned, I think you won't have any trouble getting sub-vets down to help, or when the chief petty officers have their initiation every year, they got to have a project, and so we can certainly align that where every 5 years the project is to go make improvements as needed to the memorial.
Thank you.
Let me see. Representative Powers, you don't have another question, do you?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. John, I noticed that you're gonna have plaques. What are you going to have on those plaques?
Well, I'll let the foundation answer.
Those plaques will be memorializing those who contributed to the foundation fund. We'll also memorialize, that's where we'll tell the story of the fact that we have the town support. We have Electric Boat designing and building the ships. We have the sub base, the synergy between the sub base and the shipbuilder. It's just going to tell the story. It'll talk about the fact that the families have to, put up with lengthy absences during deployments. I haven't figured out exactly what all the plaques are going to say, but the intent is for those plaques to basically explain what the memorial is and who it is memorializing and honoring.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions? None? Okay. Are we ready to?
Representative
Go ahead.
Washington? I just want to say, I apologize for getting late to the meeting.
Oh, that's okay.
I was involved with this for quite a few years. It's a great project. It's in the perfect place. I think the representatives who have been saying that it wouldn't cost that much from the town side of things, and John Burt as well, are correct. And we should be really proud of this landing, where it's landing, and support it, at least in my opinion, wholeheartedly. So that's all. Thanks.
You're welcome, Bruce. All right. So,
Bev, can I say something? It's Kathy.
yes, go ahead, Kathy.
I don't want anybody to misunderstand me because I ask questions that I'm against anything. I am absolutely for this 100%. But I ask questions because if, constituents are out there watching this, they may have questions. So by me asking questions does not mean that I'm against something. I just wanted to make that note.
Okay, well, thank you, Kathy. I never thought that anyway.
Beth,
Who's that?
Beth, this is Jim Streeter. Can I make a comment, please?
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Jim Streeter. Because you're the finance committee, I just want to let you know, although we cannot put an exact figure on what we will be providing extra to the town for maintenance and upkeep, from the beginning in 2000 made it a major part of the program that we would contribute a significant endowment to the town for maintenance and upkeep. We can't provide you an exact figure, but please be assured that that is definitely one of the major considerations that we're going to be doing during fundraising.
Okay, thank you, Jim. All right, are we ready to vote? Does anybody want to read the motion, or does anybody want to read the motion so we can send this forward to the full RTM next week?
Yeah, I can make the motion.
Okay,
Make a
thank you,
motion.
Chase.
For the resolution to submit request to the state of Connecticut for the purchase of right-of-way along Route 117. Do I need to read the whole thing, or is that?
No, and then just say on the bottom, the resolve part.
Okay, resolve that the town of Groton does authorize the town manager to seek purchase of the property after receipt of funding from the USS Groton Sale Foundation and approval from the RTM.
I'll second that.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Opposed? Okay, so approved. All right, good. That's gonna look nice at that site, because All we have there is the sign for the Groton Library and the Senior Center. So that's going to be really nice. Thank you, Marion and Jim and John, for coming to the meeting.
Thank you, Bev.
Thank you for hosting us, and we look forward to taking the next step after the RTM approves your recommendation.
Okay. Once the RTM approves, when do you think you'll be getting started?
Well, John, Burt, and I will then talk about well, actually, Jim Streeter will be the main man, but we will figure out the best way, and I would hope, to quickly transfer the 91.5 to the town. And then we expect that there will not be much delay in getting the purchase from the state to the town. So my hope is that by the end of February, we'll at least be able to go to the Navy and say, okay, now we got a spot. Now we need permission to go forward.
Okay. And how long will it take to prepare the site?
Any number I tell you is wrong. But my
I like this man, he's honest.
Yeah.
my expectation is if we start the environmental remediation of the sale and then the construction part of the sale, say in March or April, which I think is doable. We can have the site preparation done during the summer, and then we can take the sale to the site. And as I said, my aspirational schedule shows us as completing the work on the site so that we can have a ribbon cutting around the middle of 2022. I choose that date because that gives me the opportunity to do it on Memorial Day, 4th of July, or Labor Day, and take advantage of the holiday period to help celebrate.
Okay. Oh, can I ask you, why did you pick that particular site? Did you have other sites in mind?
Hey, John, you want me to handle this?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say it was hard to find. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, it's great seeing everybody. When we first started on this, we had identified like 29 or 30 sites throughout the community, and evaluated them. Tried to have a pretty good cross section of folks involved in site selection. There were some other sites that we considered first that, for one reason or the other, did not work out. This site's been on the list since day one. And I think over time, there was some, we needed to find the site. As some of you may know, the sale is in town. It's been up at the sub base for probably 2.5 years now. The Navy would love to get it out. Groton Navy would love to get it out of there. But this is, as somebody noted, this, and I think Admiral Padgett noted, this is a fantastic site. It's in the smack dab in the middle of town. It's really at the community's civic core or triangle with the library and the senior center, town hall around the corner, schools, and so forth. It's a fairly busy road. A lot of people will see it. So there were many other sites also looked at. There was one in particular that the foundation spent, oh boy, probably 4 years, maybe even a little bit more, trying to make work, but we just were not able to secure control of it. So ultimately at that point, the committee decided to pursue this site.
Thank you, Mark. Some of us are hoping that across the street on the Chester property, that will one day be a nice town green.
That would be fabulous.
So that would go great with the rudder and the sail.
Bev, may I ask another question?
Go ahead.
For anybody who could answer this, this is just a curiosity question. How did this whole thing come about? Is this a normal thing when a sub is decommissioned that they give parts to whatever city it's named after, or how did this whole thing come about?
Well, typically what happens is when the Navy takes a submarine out of commission. There's a rather lengthy process to make sure that the ship is disposed of in an environmentally sound manner. And so most submarines, currently all submarines now, but over the past years, it goes to the submarine is decommissioned, and then it goes to a shipyard to be taken apart. When we used to name submarines after fish, like the one down by the waterfront, the Flasher Memorial, if there was a place that wanted to have some of that submarine, the town or the governmental entity that was asking for it would write a letter to the Navy and say, hey, we'd like to build a Flasher Memorial in Groton as a memorial for submarines. When we started naming submarines after cities, for example, I commanded the USS Omaha, and sure enough, the sail of the USS Omaha is in a park in Omaha, Nebraska, even as we speak. It's covered with snow right now, but it's a nice memorial for the USS Omaha. And more importantly, I think, or as important, is the fact that it reminds the city that they once had a ship named after that city. So it just by its nature of being there, it's a reminder of the affiliation. So in this particular case, the mayors of the town of Groton and the city of Groton wrote a letter at the stimulus of Bill Vogel to the Navy in the person of Naval Sea Systems Command, who controls the shipyards. And then between the Naval Sea Systems Command and the Naval History and Heritage Command, they get together and they write you a letter back and saying, okay, we'll let you have the sail, but you got to take good care of it. And you got to make sure that it doesn't become an eyesore. So when the Navy has these controls where you have to then go to them and say, okay, here's where we're going to put it. Here's what it's going to look like. Here's how we're going to maintain it. And that's the process. And any city can have it. I mean, any city can request it. And as long as the ship hadn't been cut entirely into razor blades, the Navy's more than happy to give it to the city.
Thank you very much.
Okay, are we ready to vote?
We
We have a motion and we
I
have a
think we
second.
did. I think we did vote already.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, and we'll go on to the next item on the agenda.
Hey, thank you very much for allowing us to be here tonight. Thank you very much.
Yep, and I'm sure that the full RTM, they will probably approve it too. So we meet next week. I think it's Wednesday, January the 11th, if I'm not
13th.
mistaken.
13th.
13th. Okay, January the 13th. Okay, thank you everyone for attending.
Thank
And
you.
Thanks a lot.
the next item is the COVID, the block grant, the CDBG COVID-19, which is a $150,000 block grant. And I'll let Jon explain that.
I'll start, of course, Jon Reiner is on the line to answer any questions, but the town, some funding came through there were some CDBG dollars, community development block grant dollars available still with the state that they were able to free up to put toward COVID related uses. The town put an application in, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Jon, but I believe it was 300,000, which was the max that we applied for originally. There was, I think, two or three different things we asked for. The state ended up liking the idea of us being able to buy personal protective equipment for town facilities, for nonprofits, for businesses, kind of general use, whatever we need. So they did award us 150,000, no match dollars required, no permanent effect on the budget, no staffing, anything like that. So it's a one-time grant.
Yeah, this is Jon Reiner. Jon, that was a great summary. And the only thing I would just make a little change to it actually wasn't even an application that we had first put together. We had submitted a letter of intent because they were looking for ideas. And then lo and behold, they awarded it to us based on that. So now there's a bit of a scramble to try to get these contracts approved because the state's only giving us 30 days to get all of this approved. And they just got it to us basically a week ago.
Besides the PPE equipment, what else it says you're gonna create programs? What kind of programs will you be creating?
That ended up not getting approved. Is that correct, John? We applied for it. We were interested in it, but the state was only interested in the PPE.
Correct. So the only program would be just a distribution program as part of how we get that PPE out. Yes.
Originally, we had an interest in also working with Grasso Tech and Fitch and possibly creating a program to make PPE equipment. We were excited about that, but the state apparently had little to no interest in that. Maybe because of longer timeline on that item.
Any committee members have any questions?
None from me.
No, I think it's a no-brainer.
All right, Chase, you have any questions?
No,
Clarence?
yeah, thanks for going after this.
Okay, no questions. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the $150,000?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay. Sean and Kathy.
Mhm.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? All right, abstain? Okay, great. Yep, that's a no-brainer. That's gonna help the community. Where are you gonna get where are you gonna purchase the PPEs from?
So this is Jon Reiner. We're still working on that. So some of the details of how we do this, we just need to work with the state if we're going to be utilizing things from like the state bid. But first we got to get the contract paperwork done, and then we'll look into some of those options. I know that Paige and his team have been looking at the best way for us to get those supplies.
Mm. And do you have to spend all the money, or what if you don't, say you can't find enough PPEs for $150,000? Do you have to return the rest of the money to the state, or what happens?
Yeah, because it's so specific for the items, we would probably have to return it, although at the end of it, they might be able to make amendments to it. But, as of now, we would look to spend the funding for all that. And if we can't spend it on that, then we would work with the state to see if there was a way to amend it, or we would return it.
It's Representative Chase. Bev, can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Jon Reiner, I didn't notice a timeline on this. Do you have to have it spent by June 30th?
I don't think there's an actual timeline. Let me look through
I didn't know if it was the,
we have to have it spent by 12/31/22.
oh, great. Awesome. Okay, thank you.
You said 12/31/22?
Correct.
Oh, you have plenty of time to spend the money.
Yeah.
Because it may take you some time to find the PPE stuff too.
Yeah. It looks like the budget period on the schedule is from January 1st, 21 to December 31st, 22.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you everyone for attending. And I think that's all that's on our agenda for tonight. Do I have a
Make a
motion
motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
What time is it, Sean?
7:12.
7:12, thank you. Motion to adjourn, do I have a second?
Second, Kathy.
All those in favor? Say
Aye.
Bye.
Okay.
Aye.
All right, thank you. I hope everybody had a happy new year, and we'll be together next week, I guess.
Have a good night, everyone.
See you guys
Yep,
tonight.
have a
Good
good
night.
night. Thanks, John.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Thank you.
I
Right.
got, well,
Good
I have a
night, Kathy.
I got
Go
a
ahead.
question for Representative Chase. He appears twice.